Standing behind a pharmacy counter, you see a pattern nobody talks about. Patients collecting knee pain medication week after week, month after month, who are all doing exactly what they have been told. Walking every day, staying active, and their legs are still getting weaker. What if the problem is not how much you walk, but something far simpler, something nobody has thought to change? There is one exercise that builds leg strength 6 times faster, and it is not what you think it is.
Before anything else, 3 honest questions. Does your knee ache going down the stairs? Not a sharp pain, just that dull, grinding pressure that gets a little worse as the day goes on. Do you sometimes feel unsteady on your feet? Like your legs are not quite as dependable as they used to be? And have you been told at least once to simply walk more, as if 10,000 steps is the answer to everything? If any of that felt familiar, what you are about to hear will reframe something you thought you already understood.
Walking is genuinely good for you. It supports your heart, your circulation, your mood. Nobody is going to tell you to stop. But here is what the standard advice leaves out entirely. Walking forward works your leg muscles in a limited, repetitive range of motion. Your quadriceps, the large muscles across the front of your thighs, never reach their full capacity. Your glutes barely engage. Your hamstrings do a fraction of what they are capable of doing. The cardiovascular benefit is real, but the strength benefit is modest. And that distinction matters more than most people realize, because here is what is actually happening inside your legs as you age. Muscle tissue is gradually lost, a process called sarcopenia. Sarcopenia simply means the progressive loss of muscle mass that occurs naturally over time. It is not dramatic, it does not happen overnight, but without deliberate resistance and strength challenge, it accelerates, and the consequences are deeply practical. Slower walking speed, increased fall risk, difficulty getting up from a chair without using your arms, needing someone else to help. That loss of independence does not begin with a fall. It begins with legs that were never adequately challenged. Walking alone will not stop it. Something else will.
The exercise is retro walking, walking backwards. That is it. When it first came across my desk, honestly, it sounded like the kind of thing someone invented to sell a fitness gadget. Then the research stopped me. Patient results reinforced it. The simplicity is the point, and the physiology behind it is more interesting than the name suggests.
When you walk backward, your body moves differently in 4 specific ways, and each one matters. Your quadriceps are the large muscles running down the front of your thighs. Walking forward uses them, but only partially. They fire briefly and then coast. Walking backward forces them to work constantly, controlling every step, stabilizing the knee through a fuller range of movement. Research consistently shows that retro walking produces substantially greater quadriceps activation than forward walking at the same pace. This matters because stronger quads mean a more stable, better supported knee joint. And for anyone who has been managing knee pain, that stability is not a small thing. Your glutes are the largest muscles in the entire body. In most people who spend significant time sitting, they are chronically underactive, not weak by nature, just disengaged by habit. Backward walking forces them to engage with them every single step, extending the hip and stabilizing the pelvis in a way that ordinary forward movement simply does not demand. Better glute activation means better posture, less lower back strain, and more power when you need to push yourself up from a seated position. Your hamstrings, the muscles at the back of your thighs, work through a greater range of motion when you walk backward. They are being stretched and contracted more fully with each stride. Tight, underworked hamstrings are a significant contributor to both knee pain and lower back discomfort. Exercise science literature suggests that addressing hamstring function directly, rather than just stretching, produces more lasting relief. Your calves, finally. Walking forward, they push off at the end of each stride and rest. Walking backward, they are active throughout the entire movement, stabilizing your ankle, controlling your descent with every step. This matters because ankle stability is one of the most underestimated components of fall prevention. Stronger calves mean a steadier base. A steadier base means less risk of going down when the ground is uneven.
Patricia was 69 when she came to the counter asking whether there was anything stronger than what she had already been prescribed for knee pain. She had tried physiotherapy, she had tried walking more, she had been told her options were limited, and that this was simply what getting older felt like. When she heard the suggestion, her exact response was a flat look and the words, "You want me to walk backwards?" She tried it anyway.
5 minutes a day, one hand on the hallway wall. 3 weeks later, the grinding pain on the stairs had noticeably reduced. 6 weeks in, she was walking 12 minutes without support. She came back to the counter not for a prescription, but to tell someone it had worked. She did not need a stronger medication, she needed a different direction.
Here is something that genuinely surprised me. When the research went deeper than leg strength, retro walking produces measurable improvements in balance, not because it trains you to stand still, but because of what it demands from your proprioceptive system. Proprioception is your body's internal ability to sense its own position in space without relying on sight. When you walk backward, you cannot see where you are going. Your nervous system compensates. It draws more heavily on your inner ear, your joint receptors, your spatial awareness. That heightened demand trains your balance in ways that standing on one leg in a hallway simply cannot replicate. Clinical studies on older adults consistently indicate that retro walking improves balance scores significantly. And better balance means a different relationship with the world around you. You reach for fewer handrails. You hesitate less on uneven ground. You move through life with more confidence than a leg exercise has any right to give you.
Starting this is simpler than it sounds, and the starting point matters more than the destination. Phase 1 is the first week. Find a long, clear hallway. Nothing on the floor, nothing in the way. Keep one hand lightly on the wall. Walk slowly backward for 5 minutes. That is the whole instruction. Feel your quads working. Notice your glutes engaging. Do not rush it. Phase 2 runs from week 2 to week 3. Remove the wall support once you feel stable. Increase to 8 minutes. Add arm swings, opposite arm to opposite leg, which engages your core and settles your balance further. A running track works very well at this stage because the lane markings orient you without any thought required. Phase 3 begins around week 4 and continues from there. Work toward 12 to 15 minutes. A gentle uphill slope, even a shallow ramp, increases the load on your quads and glutes considerably. At this point, you will likely notice that your forward walking has also improved. That is not coincidence. The muscles driving you forward are simply stronger. 3 things to avoid. Do not start on uneven or sloped surfaces. Flat ground only until you are comfortable. Do not walk at your normal forward pace. Half speed to begin, always. Do not skip the supported phase because it feels unnecessary. Confidence matters more than speed, and the wall is not a weakness, it is a foundation.
One important note, and this comes from the same place as everything else here. If you have a diagnosed knee or hip condition, a history of joint replacement, or significant balance problems, please speak with your GP or physiotherapist before starting. Your individual situation always takes precedence over general guidance. That said, for most reasonably healthy adults, retro walking is one of the gentlest, lowest impact ways to build meaningful leg strength available. The barrier is low. The risk, for most people, is not. One action. Find a hallway, put one hand on the wall, and walk backward for 5 minutes. That is all that is being asked of you right now. Come back and leave a comment telling me how it felt. Even if it felt strange, especially if it felt strange. If someone in your life has been struggling with knee pain and told there is nothing left to try, send them this. They deserve to know there is still something. New evidence-based videos go up every week. Subscribing means you will not miss the next one.